Start with the great name of Allah, the most kind and most merciful. My name is Abdul Rashid. Roll number 2, subject economic development, concern teacher, Madam Indra Mughal, class BS English 2K19, part 2, Department of English Language and Literature. My topics are introducing economic development, global perspective. Number second is child labor. Number third is global warming and climate change. Scope, migration and adoption. Number fourth one is important of the woman. The important role of the woman. Our first topic is child labor. What is child labor? Child labor is a whispered phenomenon. The problem may be modeled using the multiple equilibria approach. Government intervention may be called for to move to a better equilibrium. Sometimes this shift can be self-enforcing, so active intervention only needed at first. Assumptions of the child labor multiple equilibria model. Luxury axiom. A household with sufficiently high income will not send its children to work. Means a household means a man who is sufficient high income would not send its child to work. Means a person who has a lot of money, he can send their children to do work. Number second is substitution axiom. Adult and child labor are substitutes, perfect substitutes in this model, in which the quantity of output by a child is given fraction of that of adult, as in a formula. Child labor is a bad equilibrium, as it is shown in graph. So from Journal of Economic Literature, this is received from the Journal of Economic Literature by Kushik Besu. Other approaches to child labor policy. Get your children into school. Other approaches to child labor policy. Get more children into school as in Millennium Development Goals. Example, new village school and enrollment interviews for parents such as in progress opportunities. Consider child labor an expression of poverty, so emphasizes ending poverty generally, a traditional World Bank approach now modified. If child labor is inevitable in the short run, regulate it to prevent abuse and provide support service for working children as UNICEF approach. Ban child labor, or if impossible ban child labor, its most abusive form. ILO stringy worst forms of child labor convention. Activist approach, trend restrictions, concerns could backfire when children shifted to informal sector. Second topic, gender gap, nutrition in education and health. Youth, young families, young females receive less education than young males in nearly every low and lower middle income developing country. figure youth literacy rate in 2008. East Asia and Pacific is approximately same. Europe and Central Asia is also same. Latin and America, Siberian is same. Middle East and North Africa, the ratio of male is greater than the ratio of female. South Asia is also the ratio of male is greater than from female. The sub-Saharan Africa and also the of males are greater than the females, as shown in graph. The gender gap, discrimination in education and health. Closing the educational gender gap is important because the social rate of return on women's education is higher than that of women in developing countries. Education for women increases productivity, lower fertility. Educated mothers have multiple impact on future generations. Education can break the vicious cycle of poverty and inadequate schooling for women. That means when a woman get education, he is the good. He is good because he can build their child's career future. He will study them properly. The gender gap, discrimination in education and health, economic inclusion in their cultural setting, missing women mastery in Asia, increase in family income does not always lead to better health and education. Mother's education is important. Global warming and climate change, scope, migration and adoption. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) report paints a dire picture of developing economies. Published in 2007, they identified number of things that includes longer and more severe heat waves, droughts, flood and storms. People affected by these are mostly located in developing countries. IPCC distributed world into four zones: Sub-Saharan Africa, Asian Middle, small islands, Arctic. Scope: Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) report paints a dire picture for developing economies. The study projected that 70 to 50 million people in Africa will be exposed to increased functions in climate, mainly because of water stress due to climate change by 2020. Impact of global warming likely hardest on poorest. There are number of situations happening around the globe includes massive floods, hurricanes, storms. These situations are happening because of global warming and climate change. Mitigation politics designed and implemented by both government and private sector. Caps on greenhouse gas, taxes on carbon acquisitions, subsidies to encourage development technologies that involve less emission of carbon and greenhouse gas adoption. The types of adaptation planned or policy adoption mainly undertaken by governments. Auto- Autonomous adoption. Sri Lankan Boring Search in 2008, they observed a number of indigenous adaptation strategies to climate change impact in eastern and southern Africa. Indigenous adaptation in different parts of eastern and southern Africa according to climate change. For livelihood, they implement principle of diversification. Fishers in Uganda frequent thought in Namibia and Botswana electrical friction. David Thomas and his colleagues study published in 2007. They identified farmers change farming practices by planting drought resistant varieties, switching to more livestock and less crops, building cattle shelters, cooperatives and community horticultural projects. Number 4, the important role of women. The important role of women, men who remain home generally perform the initial task of cutting trees and bushes on a potentially cultivated plot of land. Women are typically responsible for burning felled trees, sowing or planting the plot, weeding, harvesting. Women do much of labor for cash crop production. Cash crops produced entirely for the market. Women work longer hours than men, and women provide 60% to 80% of agricultural labor in Africa and Asia, about 40% in Latin America. Government assistance programs tend to reach men and not women. Active participation of women is critical to agriculture property. Policy design should ensure that women benefit equally from and effort. The microeconomics of farmer behavior and agriculture development. Subsistence farming, risk reduction, uncertainty and survival. Output is produced for family consumption and a few staple foods are chief sources of nutrition. Without food we can't live because it is our chief source of nutrition, food. Output and productivity are low. Capital investment is minimal. Land and labor are principal factor of production. Traditional methods and tools are used. Subsistence agriculture is a highly and uncertain winter price, weather and other uncertainty along with limited across to credit and ensure and even savings vehicles largely explains the context of risk averse behavior and observed small farmer attitudes toward risk, why it is sometimes rational to risk emotion and change. It is a figure and shown in figure. The transition to mixed or diversified farming. Why? Regional loss of land or landlords, the risk of price functions and certainty of nature. In this stage, the staple crop no longer dominates from output and new cash crops such as fruits, vegetables, coffee, tea and petroleum are established together with simple and husbandry. Mixed farming, where a small part of produce is grown from consumption and significant part of sale commercial sector is in much of Asia. From divergence to specialization, modern commercial farming. The modern farm exclusively engaged in high productivity, specialized agriculture geared and commercial market as in developed countries and often found in highly urbanized developing countries. Specialized farming. The final and most advanced stage of evolution of agriculture production is farm output produced wholly for the market. Core requirements of a strategy of agricultural and rural development, improving small scale agriculture, technology and innovation, modern mechanical and chemical inputs, improving small and scale agriculture, technology and innovation, modern mechanical and chemical inputs, high yield seed varieties, modern farming techniques, appropriate technology, labor intensive. Means we have modern technology. With modern technology, we can produce a lot with modern farming techniques and labor intensive. Institutional and pricing policies providing the necessary economic incentives. With farm price so low, there was no incentive for farmers to expand output or invest in feed production rising technology, adapting to new opportunities and new constraints. Higher value added activities, environmental problems. Conditions for rural development, land reform, increasing food production and promoting a wider disruption of the benefits of agrarian progress. Supportive policies. Agriculture development cannot be realized unless government support systems. Integrated development objectives rise farm and non-farm rural real incomes, decreasing inequality in the distribution of rural incomes, promoting conservation. Thanks. It was my presentation video. Hope that it will be understood properly. Thanks.